I've been to Las Vegas twice before this happened, but this was the first time I went alone. The trip wasn't planned. I had just broken up with my girlfriend of 4 years, quit a job I hated, and booked the cheapest flight I could find at 2:30 in the morning because sitting alone in my apartment felt worse than wasting money I didn't really have. I landed at McCarran just after midnight. The airport felt hollow in a way that didn't match Vegas' reputation. Half the shops were closed, the lights were dimmer than I expected, and the carpet had that same tired pattern every Vegas carpet seems to have, like it was designed to confuse you just enough to keep you walking in circles. I didn't rent a car. I took a cab straight to my hotel, a place I chose because it was cheap, close enough to the strip, and didn't look completely run down in the photos. I won't say the name, not because of legal reasons, but because part of me feels like naming it gives it more power than it deserves. The cab driver didn't talk much. When we pulled up, he asked if I was sure this was where I wanted to stay. I laughed it off and said I wasn't picky. He didn't laugh back. The lobby smelled faintly of smoke even though there were no ashtrays anywhere. The front desk clerk looked exhausted, like he'd been working for days without sleep. He handed me a keycard and told me my room was on the 9th floor. Elevators are slow tonight, he added. That should have been my first warning. The elevator ride up took long enough that I checked my phone twice to make sure it wasn't stuck. The lights flickered once between floors. When the doors opened, the hallway felt colder than it should have been. Not air-conditioned cold, basement cold. My room was near the end of the hall. As I walked, I noticed how quiet it was. No TVs. No voices. No footsteps. Just the hum of the lights overhead and the faint buzz you get in your ears when a place is too silent. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. Nothing looked wrong at first. Standard Vegas hotel room. 2 beds. Desk. TV. Bathroom to the right. The curtains were already drawn. I dropped my bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed, finally letting myself breathe. That's when I heard the knock. 3 slow knocks. Not loud. Not aggressive. Like someone testing whether I was awake. I froze. It was almost 1:30 in the morning. I hadn't ordered room service. I wasn't expecting anyone. I stood up quietly and walked to the door, peeking through the peephole. No one was there. I told myself it was someone at the wrong room. Happens all the time. I went back to the bed, turned on the TV, and tried to distract myself with whatever late-night infomercial was on. About 10 minutes later, the phone rang. The hotel phone. Not my cell. I stared at it for a full 5 seconds before answering. Front desk, a woman said. Just confirming you checked in okay. I've been to Las Vegas twice before this happened, but this was the first time I went alone. The trip wasn't planned. I had just broken up with my girlfriend of 4 years, quit a job I hated, and booked the cheapest flight I could find at 2:30 in the morning because sitting alone in my apartment felt worse than wasting money I didn't really have. I landed at McCarran just after midnight. The airport felt hollow in a way that didn't match Vegas' reputation. Half the shops were closed, the lights were dimmer than I expected, and the carpet had that same tired pattern every Vegas carpet seems to have, like it was designed to confuse you just enough to keep you walking in circles. I didn't rent a car. I took a cab straight to my hotel, a place I chose because it was cheap, close enough to the strip, and didn't look completely run down in the photos. I won't say the name, not because of legal reasons, but because part of me feels like naming it gives it more power than it deserves. The cab driver didn't talk much. When we pulled up, he asked if I was sure this was where I wanted to stay. I laughed it off and said I wasn't picky. He didn't laugh back. The lobby smelled faintly of smoke even though there were no ashtrays anywhere. The front desk clerk looked exhausted, like he'd been working for days without sleep. He handed me a keycard and told me my room was on the 9th floor. Elevators are slow tonight, he added. That should have been my first warning. The elevator ride up took long enough that I checked my phone twice to make sure it wasn't stuck. The lights flickered once between floors. When the doors opened, the hallway felt colder than it should have been. Not air-conditioned cold, basement cold. My room was near the end of the hall. As I walked, I noticed how quiet it was. No TVs. No voices. No footsteps. Just the hum of the lights overhead and the faint buzz you get in your ears when a place is too silent. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. Nothing looked wrong at first. Standard Vegas hotel room. 2 beds. Desk. TV. Bathroom to the right. The curtains were already drawn. I dropped my bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed, finally letting myself breathe. That's when I heard the knock. 3 slow knocks. Not loud. Not aggressive. Like someone testing whether I was awake. I froze. It was almost 1:30 in the morning. I hadn't ordered room service. I wasn't expecting anyone. I stood up quietly and walked to the door, peeking through the peephole. No one was there. I told myself it was someone at the wrong room. Happens all the time. I went back to the bed, turned on the TV, and tried to distract myself with whatever late-night infomercial was on. About 10 minutes later, the phone rang. The hotel phone. Not my cell. I stared at it for a full 5 seconds before answering. Front desk, a woman said. Just confirming you checked in okay. I've lived in California my whole life, so Vegas was never this mythical place for me. It was a 4-hour drive, a last-minute plan, a destination you chose when you didn't want to think too hard. This trip wasn't supposed to be special. It was supposed to be forgettable. That's probably why it still haunts me. I went with 2 co-workers, Ryan and Elise. We weren't close friends, just people who tolerated each other well enough to share hotel costs. Ryan booked the hotel, Elise handled the plans, and I tagged along because staying home felt worse. We checked in around 6 p.m. on a Friday. The hotel was off the strip, one of those places advertised as quiet and affordable, which really just meant older and mostly forgotten. The lobby had that constant low hum from slot machines, even though there were only a handful of people playing. The carpet looked damp, like it had been cleaned too many times and never fully dried. Our room was on the 12th floor. 2 beds. Pull-out couch. Nothing memorable. The night itself was normal. Drinks. A club. Too much noise. Too many people. We didn't stay out late. By 1:30 a.m., we were already calling a rideshare back to the hotel because none of us felt like pushing it. That's when things started to feel wrong. The app showed our driver was already outside. A black SUV idling near the curb. The license plate matched. The profile photo showed a middle-aged guy with a beard and a baseball cap. We got in. He didn't say hello. At first, I didn't think much of it. Some drivers just keep to themselves. Elise sat in the front seat, Ryan and I in the back. The doors locked automatically as soon as we closed them. I noticed that immediately. Again, not unusual, but my brain filed it away anyway. We pulled onto the road. The strip lights faded behind us, replaced by darker streets and long stretches of nothing. I leaned my head back, staring out the window, watching the neon disappear. After about 10 minutes, I realized something was off. We should have been there already. I checked my phone. The app still showed en route. The estimated arrival time kept changing, adding a minute, then another. Ryan leaned forward. "Hey, man," he said casually. "You're taking a weird way." The driver didn't respond. Elise tried again. "Our hotel's back the other way." Silence. I leaned forward too, finally getting a clear look at the rearview mirror. The man in the driver's seat didn't match the photo. No beard. No baseball cap. His face looked flat. Not expressionless, more like unfinished. His eyes stayed locked on the road, unblinking. "Can you pull over?" I asked. He nodded once. But he didn't slow down. The city was gone now. We were surrounded by empty roads and dark land, broken only by occasional streetlights that didn't seem to light anything at all. My phone buzzed. Trip route updating. Elise tried to unlock her door. It didn't open. Ryan's voice dropped. "Dude. Pull over. Now." The driver finally spoke. "You said you wanted to go back," he said. His voice didn't match his face. It sounded too young. "Yes," Elise said, her voice tight. "Back to the hotel." He nodded again. "I'm taking you," he said, "where you started." That's when the app crashed. The screen went black. No map. No emergency button. Nothing. I felt my chest tighten. My thoughts started racing. Was this a scam? A kidnapping? Some elaborate setup? The SUV turned onto a dirt road. I looked back. The pavement ended behind us like it had never been there. Ryan grabbed the door handle and yanked. Nothing. "Open the doors," he shouted. The driver smiled. I saw it clearly in the mirror. His mouth stretched too wide, like he wasn't used to smiling. "You already got in," he said. "That's the rule." The SUV slowed and stopped. We were in the middle of nowhere. No buildings. No lights. Just desert and silence. The engine stayed running. "Get out," the driver said. None of us moved. He turned his head slowly, finally looking directly at us. "Only one of you," he added. Elise started crying. Ryan swore under his breath. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. "I'll go," Ryan said suddenly. I grabbed his arm. "No." But he shook me off. The doors unlocked with a loud click. Ryan stepped out. The moment his foot hit the ground, the SUV doors slammed shut and locked again. The driver hit the gas. Elise screamed his name. I twisted around in my seat, watching Ryan get smaller and smaller in the distance, standing alone in the dark. The SUV didn't turn around. It kept driving. After what felt like forever, the lights of the city appeared again. The strip rose up in front of us like nothing had happened. The driver pulled up in front of our hotel. "Trip complete," he said. The doors unlocked. Elise and I stumbled out, screaming for help. People stared. Security came running. The SUV drove away before anyone could stop it. The app showed the trip as cancelled. Ryan was never found. The police said he probably wandered off drunk. Maybe met someone. Maybe left town. Elise quit her job and moved back home 2 weeks later. She won't talk about it. I deleted every rideshare app from my phone. Sometimes, when I'm in the back seat of a car and the doors lock automatically, I feel that same tightness in my chest. And I always check the mirror. Because every once in a while, I swear I see that smile again, waiting for someone else to get in. I wasn't supposed to be in Vegas that night. The trip had already gone wrong earlier in the evening. My friend Mark lost more money than he could afford, my phone battery was dying, and I had that dull headache that tells you drinking anymore is a bad idea. It was close to 2 a.m. and the strip had started to feel less exciting and more exhausting. Mark wanted to keep gambling. I didn't. So we split up. That decision still feels heavier than anything else I've ever done. I told him I'd head back to the hotel and sleep it off. He waved me away, already focused on a blackjack table like the rest of the world had stopped existing. I walked out of the main casino floor alone, cutting through one of those quieter sections casinos have, where the lights are dimmer and the machines sound lonelier. That's when I noticed a sign hanging above a hallway I didn't recognize. Tables open, 24 hours. An arrow pointed down a narrow corridor. I had walked that casino floor at least a dozen times over the weekend. I was sure that hallway hadn't been there before. But I chalked it up to exhaustion. Vegas casinos are designed to mess with your sense of direction. Everyone knows that. I followed the hallway. The carpet changed first, darker, thicker, softer under my shoes. The noise of the casino faded behind me, replaced by a muted hum, like electricity running through the walls. The hallway opened into a smaller room with only one table in the center. Blackjack. Just one table. A dealer sat behind it, hands folded neatly, staring straight ahead. No other players. No pit boss. No security. The overhead light above the table was bright, but the rest of the room stayed in shadow. I should have left. Instead, I sat down. The dealer looked up slowly and smiled. His eyes lingered on me longer than they should have. "Rough night?" he asked. I nodded. "You could say that." He slid a deck of cards into his hands and shuffled with practiced ease. I noticed something strange then. The cards didn't make any sound. No familiar shuffle noise. Just silence. I placed a small bet. Told myself I'd play one hand and go. I won. Then I won again. And again. The dealer never spoke unless I did. He didn't announce wins or losses. He just moved the chips toward me quietly, calmly, like he already knew the outcome before the cards were dealt. After a few hands, I glanced at my phone. 2:47 a.m. I frowned. It felt like I'd been sitting there longer than that. "How late are you open?" I asked. The dealer smiled wider. "As long as someone's still playing." Something about the way he said it made my skin prickle. I lost the next hand. Then another. My stack started shrinking faster than it had grown. I told myself it was time to leave. "I'm done," I said, standing up. The dealer didn't move. "You sure?" he asked. "You were doing so well." I nodded and took a step back. That's when I realized there was no hallway behind me anymore. Just a blank wall. I turned slowly, heart pounding, scanning the room. The shadows seemed thicker now, pressing inward. The overhead light flickered once. "Where's the exit?" I asked. The dealer tapped the table lightly with one finger. "Sit," he said. "I'm serious," I said, my voice shaking despite my effort to stay calm. "I need to leave." "You will," he said. "Eventually." I looked down at the table and noticed something I hadn't before. The chips in front of me weren't casino chips. They were dull, scratched, uneven, like they'd been handled for years. One of them had initials carved into it. Not mine. I backed away again. The wall behind me felt cold when my shoulder brushed it. "I didn't agree to this," I said. The dealer's smile faded. "No one ever does." The light above us flickered again, and for just a moment, the room changed. The shadows pulled back, and I saw other tables, dozens of them, stretching out into darkness. People sat at each one, faces pale, eyes hollow, hands trembling as they played. Some looked exhausted. Others looked terrified. None of them looked up. Then the light steadied, and it was just us again. My chest felt tight. Breathing took effort. "What happens if I lose everything?" I asked. The dealer leaned forward slightly. "Then you pay another way." I don't know what came over me. Panic, maybe. Instinct. I grabbed the remaining chips and threw them at him. "I'm leaving," I said. He sighed, almost disappointed, and dealt the cards anyway. I won. The wall behind me shifted, melting back into a hallway. The casino noise rushed in like a wave. The dealer gathered the cards and nodded toward the exit. "Cash out," he said. I didn't argue. I walked as fast as I could, not daring to look back. When I reached the main floor, everything felt louder, brighter, more crowded. I spotted a cashier and dumped the chips onto the counter. She stared at them, confused. "These aren't ours," she said. My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "I just won them." She shook her head. "We don't use chips like this." Security was called. I tried to explain, stumbling over my words, pointing back toward the hallway. There was no hallway. Just a solid wall with a drink advertisement hanging on it. They checked the cameras. No footage of me entering or leaving any private room. According to them, I'd been wandering the casino floor alone for almost an hour. Mark never came back to the hotel that night. The police said he probably went on a bender and left town. They said it happens all the time. Sometimes I think about that table, about the people I saw sitting in the shadows. And I wonder if Mark found it too. Because every once in a while, when I close my eyes, I can hear cards being shuffled, quietly, patiently, waiting for the next person who thinks they'll just play one hand. I went to Vegas for a work conference, which already made the trip miserable before anything actually happened. It was one of those mandatory events where you pretend to care during the day and drink with coworkers at night because there's nothing else to do. I didn't gamble. I didn't go clubbing. I mostly stayed out of the way and counted the hours until I could go home. That's why what happened bothers me so much. I checked into the hotel around 9 p.m. It was one of the big-name places on the Strip, clean, modern, expensive enough that I assumed nothing sketchy would ever happen there. The kind of place where security guards are everywhere and the hallways smell like cleaning products instead of smoke. My room was on the 18th floor. I went up, dropped my bag, showered, and lay down fully dressed on the bed, scrolling through my phone. I remember checking the lock twice before turning off the light. Deadbolt engaged. Safety latch in place. The kind of thing you do without thinking when you travel alone. I fell asleep faster than I expected. I woke up to the sound of the door opening. Not banging. Not forced. Just the soft electronic click of a keycard being accepted. My eyes snapped open. The room was still dark, but I could see the outline of the door as it slowly pushed inward until it hit the safety latch and stopped. Someone stood on the other side, close enough that I could see their shadow through the crack. They didn't say anything. They didn't try to force it. They just stood there. I held my breath, listening. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure they could hear it. After what felt like a full minute, the door closed again. I heard footsteps retreat down the hallway. I didn't move for a long time. Eventually, I grabbed my phone and checked the time. 2:14 a.m. I told myself it was a mistake. Wrong room. Drunk guest. Happens all the time in hotels this size. Still, I got up and checked the door. Both locks were still engaged. I sat back down on the bed and tried to calm myself. 5 minutes later, the phone rang. The hotel phone. I stared at it, already feeling sick. I answered. "Front desk," a man said. "Just confirming that you're alone in the room." My mouth went dry. "Yes," I said. "Why?" Another pause. "We had a keycard used on your door just now," he said. "That shouldn't have happened." "What do you mean shouldn't have happened?" I asked. "That card was deactivated," he said. I felt a chill move through me. "So how did it open my door?" He didn't answer that. "Would you like to change rooms?" he asked instead. "Yes," I said immediately. I packed my things in record time and waited for security to escort me to a new room on a lower floor. The guard was polite, calm, almost too relaxed about the situation. Before leaving, I asked him who had tried to enter my room. He hesitated. According to the system, he said, that keycard belonged to the previous guest. When did they check out? I asked. He looked at his tablet. They didn't, he said. They were reported missing. I laughed nervously, assuming he was joking. He didn't laugh back. The new room felt safer, but I didn't sleep much. Around 4 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification from the hotel app. Room activity recorded, door accessed at 2:17 a.m. I stared at the message. That wasn't my new room number. It was the old one. The one I'd left. I checked out early that morning. When I mentioned the notification at the desk, the clerk frowned and said there was no record of any activity after I moved rooms. I asked them one last question before leaving. What happened to the guest who went missing? She shook her head. We don't have any record of a missing guest. I didn't argue, but sometimes, when I stay in hotels now, I listen carefully after I lock the door. Because I know what it sounds like when a key that shouldn't exist anymore still works. I learned the hard way that Vegas hotels don't always have the same number of floors listed everywhere. I was there with my cousin Aaron for a long weekend. Nothing wild planned, just gambling, eating, walking the strip, killing time. We stayed at one of the older hotels, the kind that's been renovated so many times that parts of it feel stitched together instead of designed. Our room was on the 22nd floor. At least, that's what the keycard sleeve said. The first night was uneventful. We stayed out late, came back drunk, passed out. The second night, Aaron crashed early while I went downstairs alone to gamble. I remember checking my phone before getting into the elevator, 1:38 a.m. The elevator was empty when I stepped in. I pressed 22. The doors closed, and the elevator started moving, but not up. It went down. At first, I thought maybe it needed to reset or something. Hotels do weird things late at night. But the floor indicator kept changing. 10, 9, 8, I frowned. We were already on the ground floor. Then it went lower. B1. B2. I'd never seen basement levels listed on the directory in the lobby. The elevator slowed and stopped at B3. The doors opened. I was staring at a hallway. Not a parking garage. Not a storage area. A carpeted hallway, identical to the guest floors, same wallpaper, same dim yellow lighting, same muffled silence. The only difference was how narrow it felt, like the walls were closer together. I stayed inside the elevator. The doors didn't close. After a few seconds, I heard footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Coming from somewhere down the hallway. Hello. I called out, my voice sounding wrong in the space. The footsteps stopped. I mashed the 22 button. Nothing happened. No light. No response. The footsteps started again, closer this time. A figure stepped into view under the hallway light. It was a man in a hotel uniform, bellhop, maybe. But the uniform looked old. Faded. The name tag was scratched so badly it was unreadable. He stopped a few feet from the elevator and stared at me. You're not supposed to be here, he said. His voice echoed slightly, like the hallway was deeper than it looked. Yeah, I said quickly. I think the elevator messed up. He tilted his head. They all do, he said. The doors still wouldn't close. What floor are you going to? He asked. 22. His mouth twitched, like I'd said something funny. There is no 22, he said. I felt my stomach drop. That's where my room is. He stepped closer. I noticed then that his shoes didn't make any sound against the carpet. Not anymore, he said. The hallway lights flickered. I hit every button on the panel. Still nothing. What is this place? I asked. The part they stopped using, he said. The part people forget. The footsteps started again, behind him this time. More than one set. Let me out, I said, my voice shaking. He looked past me, into the elevator. You already did, he said. The doors began to close on their own. I screamed and shoved my arm between them. Pain shot up my shoulder as the doors resisted, then finally slid back open. The hallway was gone. So was the man. The elevator indicator flashed and jumped straight to 22. The doors opened onto my floor. Normal hallway. Normal sounds. Ice machine humming. Distant voices. I stumbled out, heart racing, and ran to my room. Aaron was sitting up in bed, pale. Where were you? He asked. Downstairs, I said automatically. Why? He swallowed. I woke up because someone tried to get into our room. My blood ran cold. What do you mean tried? The key worked, he said. The door opened, but no one came in. I checked my phone. 1:41 a.m. 3 minutes had passed. The next morning, I checked the directory. There was no 22nd floor listed. Our room was suddenly on 21. When I asked the front desk about basement levels, the clerk looked confused. There's no B3, she said. And we've never had 22 floors. We checked out that day. Sometimes I still dream about that hallway, about floors that exist only when no one's paying attention. And I don't take elevators alone anymore. I don't gamble. That's important to say up front, because what happened to me in Vegas had nothing to do with losing money and everything to do with losing time. I was there for a bachelor party, 6 of us total. Loud, messy, uncoordinated. The kind of group casinos love because we looked like walking ATMs. By the third night, everyone else was deep into the party mindset, but I had hit my limit. Too much noise, too many drinks, too many people brushing past me like I wasn't even there. Around 3 a.m. I peeled away from the group and wandered onto the casino floor alone. That's when I noticed how different it felt at that hour. The lights were still bright, but the energy was gone. Fewer people. Slower movements. Dealers who looked like they'd been awake for days. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down instead of floating. I passed rows of slot machines until I reached a blackjack pit with only one table open. Just one. 3 empty seats and a dealer who looked directly at me the moment I stepped closer. He smiled. Not the polite casino smile. The kind you give someone you recognize. Back again, he asked. I stopped. I think you've got the wrong guy. He shook his head slightly, still smiling. No. Same seat. Same hesitation. I laughed nervously. I don't play. You said that last time too. That sent a chill through me. I scanned the table. No name placard. No digital display. No pit boss nearby. The chips looked normal, but the felt was darker than usual, almost black instead of green. I've never been here, I said. He placed a deck on the table. Sit. I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe part of me wanted to prove him wrong. I sat. The chair felt warm, like someone had just stood up. The dealer slid 2 cards toward me, face down. You won't remember losing, he said calmly. You never do. I haven't even looked yet, I said. Exactly. I flipped the cards. Blackjack. The dealer nodded like he'd expected it. He didn't congratulate me. He just pulled chips toward me, more than I'd bet. I didn't put that much down, I said. You did, he replied. You always do. I checked my wallet. It was lighter. I felt a pulse of panic. How long have I been here? The dealer finally looked at the clock mounted above the pit. Longer than your friends, he said. Not as long as the others. The others? I asked. He gestured subtly with his chin. I followed his gaze and felt my stomach turn. Behind the table, where there should have been a mirrored wall, was a reflection that didn't match the room. I saw the casino, but older. Darker. The carpets looked worn to the point of threadbare. The people seated at tables weren't dressed like modern tourists. Some wore outdated clothes. Some looked exhausted beyond explanation. One man had his head resting on the table like he'd fallen asleep mid-hand. None of them moved. I looked back at the dealer. "What is this?" "A courtesy," he said. "Some people disappear fast. Others need time." I stood up so abruptly the chair tipped backward. "I'm leaving." The dealer sighed. "You said that too." The lights above the table flickered. The sounds of the casino dulled, like someone had stuffed cotton in my ears. "Let me go," I said. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the felt. "You can go. You just won't remember standing up." I don't remember standing up. I remember being shaken awake by my friend Tyler, his face hovering inches from mine. "Dude, where the hell did you go?" he asked. "You vanished." I was sitting on a bench near the elevators. My phone showed 4:12 a.m. How long was I gone? I asked. "Almost 2 hours." I checked my wallet. Half my cash was missing. The next morning, I went back to that spot on the casino floor. The blackjack pit was gone. No table. No dealer. Just a row of slot machines blinking mindlessly. I asked a floor manager about it. He checked his tablet. "There hasn't been a blackjack table there in years," he said. "That should have been the end of it." But here's the part that keeps me up at night. 2 weeks after I got home, I opened my mailbox to find a single casino chip inside. No envelope. No return address. Just a chip. Black. Scratched. And warm to the touch. On one side, carved faintly into the plastic, were my initials. And on the other, a number. 3, I don't know what it means. But I know I'm expected back. I didn't plan to stay up that late. The day had been long, walking the strip in the heat, cheap food, loud crowds, and that constant sense of stimulation that never really shuts off in Vegas. By the time I got back to the hotel, my body felt heavy in a way sleep should have fixed immediately. I was staying alone on the 14th floor. Mid-range hotel. Nothing fancy, nothing sketchy. The kind of place you forget the moment you check out. I showered, turned off the lights, and crawled into bed around 1:40 a.m. That's when I noticed the window. The curtains were partially open, just enough to let the city glow spill into the room. Normally, that view is comforting, proof the world is still alive while you rest. But something about it felt wrong. The building across from mine was close. Too close. Close enough that I could see individual windows clearly. Most of them were dark. A few had TVs flickering. One window, directly across from mine, was fully lit. And someone was standing in it. At first, I thought it was just another guest, maybe staring at their phone or watching TV. But then I realized they were facing me. Not the window. Me. I told myself perspective can be deceiving. You assume someone's looking at you when they're not. It's a common thing. Still, I shifted slightly in bed. The figure shifted too. I sat up. So did they. My chest tightened. The distance between the buildings wasn't huge, but it wasn't small either, maybe 20 feet. Close enough to see movement. Close enough to feel watched. I raised my hand slowly. Across the way, the figure raised theirs. That's when I closed the curtains. I stood there for a moment, heart pounding, feeling ridiculous. Then I laughed quietly to myself. Jet lag. Anxiety. City paranoia. I locked the window anyway. I lay back down and stared at the ceiling. About 10 minutes passed. Then I heard a soft tapping. Glass. From the window. I froze. Tap. 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 Slow. Deliberate. I didn't move. The tapping stopped. Then the curtains shifted slightly, just a few inches, like someone had brushed against them. I shot out of bed and flicked on the lamp. Nothing. Curtains still closed. Window locked. No damage. No cracks. I stood there for a long time before convincing myself I was overreacting. I turned off the lamp and got back into bed, pulling the blanket tighter around me. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, why did you close it? My blood went cold. I stared at the message, waiting for the typing bubble to appear again. It didn't. I typed back with shaking hands. Me, who is this? The response came immediately. You were watching me. I grabbed my phone charger and plugged it in, then ran to the bathroom and locked myself inside. I sat on the floor, back against the tub, trying to breathe. I checked the message again. The number had disappeared. Not blocked. Gone. Like it had never existed. I stayed in the bathroom until the sky outside started to lighten. When morning finally came, I felt stupid and exhausted. I convinced myself it was some drunk prank, someone in the opposite building messing with me. Still, I packed my bag and went downstairs to the front desk. Can I switch rooms? I asked casually. The clerk looked up. Any issues? Just didn't sleep well, I said. She typed for a moment, then frowned. You're already scheduled to move, she said. My stomach dropped. What? She glanced at the screen. Room change request logged at 2:06 a.m. That wasn't me, I said. She hesitated. It came from your room phone. I hadn't touched the room phone. She assigned me a new room on the 7th floor, facing the opposite side of the building. Before I left, I asked one more question. What's across from the 14th floor windows? She paused. There's no guest building directly across, she said. Just a service structure. Maintenance offices. No windows. I didn't argue. I moved rooms and spent the rest of the trip avoiding being alone at night. I flew home 2 days later and tried to forget the whole thing. I almost succeeded, until a week later, when I unpacked my suitcase. Tucked between folded clothes was a hotel keycard. Not mine. On the back, written in thin black marker, were 4 words. Next time, don't hide. By the 4th night in Vegas, my sense of time was completely shot. I wasn't partying hard or doing anything reckless. I was there for a trade expo, booths, pamphlets, awkward conversations, overpriced drinks at night. But Vegas does something to your internal clock anyway. The lights never dim, the noise never fully stops, and eventually everything blurs together. That night, I went downstairs alone around 1 a.m. just to clear my head. I walked the casino floor aimlessly, not really gambling, not really watching. Just moving. That's when I realized I needed to use the restroom. I followed the first sign I saw. The hallway leading to it was narrower than the rest of the casino, carpet darker, lighting softer. The sounds of slot machines faded behind me faster than they should have. The men's restroom door was already open. Inside, the lights were on, but dim, like they were set to half power. There were sinks along the wall. No mirrors. That stopped me. Every casino restroom I've ever been in has mirrors everywhere. This one didn't. Just blank wall above the sinks, smooth and slightly reflective, but not enough to see yourself. I shrugged it off and went into a stall. While I was inside, I heard someone else enter. Slow footsteps. Measured. They stopped right behind my stall. I waited, expecting to hear the sound of another stall door opening. Nothing. The footsteps didn't move. Occupied, I said, half joking, half annoyed. No response. Then I noticed something else. There was no sound of breathing. No shifting weight. Just presence. I finished up quickly and unlocked the stall, bracing myself to come face to face with whoever was standing there. The restroom was empty. I washed my hands, glancing at the blank wall where a mirror should have been. The lack of reflection felt disorienting, like part of reality was missing. That's when the lights flickered. Just once. And in that moment, the wall wasn't blank anymore. For a split second, I saw reflections. Not of me. Of people standing behind me. 3 of them. All too close. The light steadied. The wall was blank again. I spun around. No one there. My heart was racing now. I dried my hands quickly and moved toward the exit, but the door wouldn't open. I pulled harder. Locked. I tried again. Still nothing. Hello. I called out. My voice sounded wrong in that room, flat, swallowed. The lights dimmed further. I heard footsteps again, this time from inside the restroom. Multiple. Slow. Surrounding. I backed away from the door, my shoulders brushing the sinks. Then a voice spoke, low and calm. You're not supposed to look. I swallowed. Look at what? The version that stays, the voice said. The lights flickered again, longer this time. The wall filled with reflections. Dozens of them. Men who looked like me, but wrong, older, thinner, exhausted, eyes hollow. Some were bruised. Some were crying. Some stared straight through me like I wasn't there at all. I screamed and slammed my fist against the door. It burst open. I stumbled out into the casino, gasping, nearly colliding with a security guard. He grabbed my arm. Sir, are you okay? I nodded frantically and pointed behind me. That bathroom. He looked confused. What bathroom? I turned. The hallway was gone. Just a row of slot machines blinking cheerfully. There was a restroom right there, I said. He shook his head slowly. Restrooms are on the other side of the floor. I didn't argue. I went straight back to my room and locked the door. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I asked housekeeping where the nearest restroom to the slots was. She frowned. There isn't one, she said. There used to be, but they closed it. Why? I asked. She hesitated. People said they didn't recognize themselves afterward. I checked out that afternoon. Ever since then, I avoid looking in mirrors when I'm tired, because sometimes, just for a moment, I don't feel like the version of me that came back. The only reason I noticed the ice machine was because it wouldn't shut up. I was staying alone on the 11th floor of a hotel just off the strip, one of those places that advertises itself as quiet, but still hums constantly through the walls. Air vents, elevators, plumbing. You stop noticing it after a while. But the ice machine down the hall was different. It clanked. It groaned. It made this hollow knocking sound every few minutes, like someone hitting metal from the inside. I first heard it around midnight. I ignored it. By 2 a.m. I couldn't. The sound had settled into a rhythm, clank, pause, scrape, pause, clank. Not mechanical. Almost deliberate. I tried turning up the TV, then putting in earbuds, but the sound seemed to cut through everything, vibrating faintly through the floor. Finally, I grabbed my room phone and called the front desk. Hi, I said. The ice machine on my floor is really loud. Is there anything you can do about it? The woman on the line was quiet for a moment. Which ice machine? She asked. The one near the elevators on 11. Another pause. Sir, she said carefully, there is no ice machine on the 11th floor. I frowned. Yes, there is. It's right outside the elevators. No, she said. Floors 10 and 12 have them. 11 doesn't. I opened my door and leaned into the hallway. The ice machine stood there, 10 feet away, humming softly under the fluorescent lights. I'm looking at it, I said. The line went silent. Then she spoke again, quieter this time. Sir, is the light on? I glanced at it. No, I said. It's dark. She exhaled slowly. Please stay in your room. Before I could ask why, the call disconnected. The ice machine made a loud, sharp bang. I jumped. Then I heard something else. A voice. Muffled. Metallic. Like someone speaking through a vent. Hello, it said. I slammed the door shut and locked it, heart pounding. The voice continued, now clearer, drifting through the door. Hello. Can you hear me? I backed away until I hit the bed. The room phone rang. I stared at it, shaking. Against my better judgment, I answered. This is the ice machine, the voice said. My mouth went dry. That's not funny. I'm cold, it said. They don't come anymore. I hung up. The knocking outside grew louder, faster. The clanking turned violent, like something was trying to get out. I called security from my cell phone this time, whispering my room number, begging them to come. They arrived less than 5 minutes later. I watched through the peephole as 2 guards stood in front of the ice machine, confused. One of them knocked on it experimentally. Sir, one guard called out toward my door, there's nothing here. I unlocked the door slowly. The ice machine was gone. Just blank wall. Clean. Fresh paint. No, I said. It was right there. The guards exchanged a look. You're not the first guest to report this, one of them said quietly. But it's usually the 9th floor. What happens on the 9th floor? I asked. He hesitated. That's where they found someone inside one. I felt sick. Inside an ice machine. He nodded. Years ago. Maintenance worker. Disappeared for weeks. I checked out first thing in the morning. As I waited for my cab, my phone buzzed with a voicemail notification. No missed call. Just voicemail. I listened to it in the car. Static. Then a familiar metallic voice. They moved me again. I deleted the message. But sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I swear I can still hear ice clinking somewhere far away, waiting for someone to answer. I don't remember choosing the slot machine. That's the part that bothers me most. I was alone on my last night in Vegas, killing time before an early flight. My bags were already packed. I wasn't drunk, wasn't tired enough to be careless. I just didn't want to sit in my room staring at the ceiling. So I went downstairs around 1:15 a.m. The casino floor was thinner than usual, still open, still loud, but missing the crowd that gives it energy. I wandered past rows of machines until I reached a corner I hadn't noticed before. No flashing jackpot signs. No music blaring from the machines, just a dimmer section near a structural column. One slot machine was lit. Just one. It didn't have a theme, no cartoon characters, no Vegas branding, no recognizable game logo. Just a simple screen with a black background and pale symbols that didn't mean anything to me. I sat down without thinking. The chair was already warm. I put in $20. The screen flickered, then displayed a message instead of spinning. Welcome back. I frowned. I've never played this, I muttered. The machine didn't respond, but the message disappeared and the reels began to spin. They stopped almost immediately. I won. Not a huge amount. $40. The credits updated silently, no celebration, no sound. I played again. Won again. And again. Every spin paid out. Not massive wins, but consistent. Enough to keep me sitting there. Enough to make me forget to check the time. That's when I noticed something strange. The casino around me felt still. Not quiet. Just frozen in place. A woman at a nearby machine hadn't moved in several minutes. A dealer across the floor stood with his hands on the table, eyes unfocused. I glanced up at the clock mounted near the ceiling. It read 1:15 a.m. The same time I'd come downstairs. I checked my phone. 1:15 a.m. A chill crept up my spine. I looked back at the slot machine. Another message appeared. You can stay longer. No, I said out loud. I'm good. I stood up. The chair didn't move. It felt like it was anchored to the floor. I pulled harder. Nothing. My legs felt heavy, like I'd been sitting for hours. I sat back down, breathing hard. What is this? I whispered. The screen changed again. Everyone pays. Images flashed briefly, too fast to fully register. Faces. Empty hotel rooms. Blurred hallways. People sitting alone, staring at screens, staring at tables, staring at nothing. Then it stopped. The credits on the machine were gone. Replaced by a counter. Time remaining, 4 minutes and 59 seconds. My heart started pounding. What happens when it hits zero? I asked. The machine responded immediately. You don't notice. The counter began ticking down. I tried to scream, but my throat felt tight, like the air was thicker around me. I looked around the casino again. Everyone was still frozen. Except one man. He stood a few machines away, watching me. He looked older than he should have been. His clothes were outdated. His eyes were tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. He shook his head slowly. Don't let it finish, he said. How? I whispered. He stepped closer. You have to leave something. Money? I asked desperately. He laughed weakly. That's already gone. The counter hit 1 minute. My vision blurred. My thoughts felt slippery, like they were sliding away from me. What did you leave? I asked him. He hesitated. A year, he said. Didn't even feel it happen. The counter hit 10 seconds. I acted without thinking. I grabbed my phone and smashed it against the screen of the machine. The glass cracked. The lights above flickered violently. The machine screamed, not electronically, but like something alive. The counter vanished. The casino surged back to life all at once, noise, movement, sound crashing over me. I fell backward out of the chair and hit the carpet hard. Security was on me almost immediately. They asked what happened. Asked why I damaged the machine. Asked if I was intoxicated. I didn't have answers. They escorted me out and told me I was banned from the casino. I didn't argue. I went back to my room, packed, and sat there until sunrise. On the flight home, I felt off. Lighter somehow. Disconnected. It wasn't until weeks later that I realized what I'd lost. I couldn't remember my sister's wedding. Not the day. Not the photos. Not the feeling of being there. Everyone says I was there. I smiled in the pictures. I gave a speech. But to me, it's gone, like it never happened. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder what else that machine took that I haven't noticed yet. Because the scariest part isn't losing money in Vegas. It's losing pieces of your life and never knowing when they disappeared. Love these stories? YouTube algorithm suggests that you would like to listen to these stories. Click on the video on the screen.